Hi everybody. Most of you don't know me. My name is Stu Valentine. I work with Chris, and he's asked me to talk for a little while on the Prince's Trust and the event that you're uh, supporting tonight by visiting Chris's house. Um, First thing I'd like to say is a huge thanks to Chris and Lauren for putting on the event. It's so generous of them. I was at their house a couple of weeks ago, and I know you will be having an absolutely amazing time. Their generosity is second to none, and I feel certain you'll have a fantastic night. I would have been there myself, but I spent last week 12 hours in a pedalo with Chris, and frankly, there is only so much goodwill, enthusiasm, and positivity that any man can take. I've had my fill, so I simply chose not to turn up and sent a message by video instead. My other reservation about the evening was that I hear Finn is doing the barbecue. And for me, that is akin to Rab C. Nesbitt looking after communion wine. Good luck for seconds, any of you are still peckish, if Finn is looking after the burgers. In all seriousness, though, huge thanks to Chris and Lauren, and a big thanks to you guys as well for turning up to support an event. Chris has asked me to talk a little bit about why we've been doing what we've been doing and our journey across Scotland last week. As some of you may know, we became the first people to ever cross Scotland by pedalo, and successfully completed the journey last Thursday. The pleasure of Chris's company was countered by his attempts to forcibly educate me about the origins of Scotland and the fact that there are 47 brands, do they call them brands, of indigenous trees on the banks of Loch Ness. Now, speaking as a man who thought an indigenous tree was the variety that Rolf Harris made his musical instruments from, it didn't impress me much, and I could have done with more football, more this week's cover of FHM, and less culture, but you've got to take him as you find him, haven't you? He supported us fantastically well and is supporting us tonight amazingly well as well, so I'm very grateful to him for that. The journey started a few years ago, actually. We a number of us became involved in the Prince's Trust because we by accident came across someone who told us about the work that they did, and I previously lived under the misconception that the Prince's Trust simply supported bright sixth formers in starting up their own businesses. And I was quickly educated into a much more accurate understanding of what they do, and that is to support, largely speaking, very, very underprivileged children in their attempts to find work. The category of underprivileged children that I found myself most closely associated with were children who come out of the care system, and I say fascinated. It's absolutely the wrong word, but I was interested enough to find out more about the care system and what it did for our children. The care system works hard, is worthy, and tries its best to give give vulnerable children a good start in life, but frankly needs more support, fails woefully. And the byproducts or the outputs of the care system are fairly shocking. Just some statistics that roll off the tongue, unfortunately, are that around 30% of young people who come out of the care system have special educational needs, 67% have identifiable mental health problems, 63% don't have any GCSEs, 72% have basic skill needs, 50% leaving care are unemployed, and really tragically, about 17% of young women leaving care are already pregnant. 38% of young prisoners have been in care. Half of the care community have identifiable mental health problems. A third deliberately self-harm, and 2/3 of care leavers think about committing suicide with tragically 40% actually trying to do so between the ages of 15 and 18. Now, you can recount numbers and numbers and numbers and numbers, but these are genuine outputs validated by the care community themselves, who recognise they have a challenge, and it resonated so heavily with me. I have two very, very lovely daughters, and I had the most amazing evening with Chris and Lauren a few weeks ago, when you couldn't help but just love spending time in the company of his lovely children. But it just brought home to me how lucky I was that my children, through no more than an accident of birth, had arrived in a caring, loving environment, and so many don't. It is never a child's choice or option to grow up in a loving, caring family. It's never a child's option or choice to go into the care system. It's simply something that happens to them that they have no control over. And when it does happen, it brings such tragic and amazingly difficult circumstances for them to have to cope with, that it moved me and many, many other people to try and work in some way, shape or form to try and make their path to adulthood a little easier. And the Trust, Prince's Trust, is an organisation which works really hard to smooth that path for them and make their lives, give them a better chance at a successful life when they come through the care system. I guess a number of us work on a voluntary basis with the young people, but we also wanted to do a little bit more in terms of fundraising. And with Chris, we've developed a programme whereby we are attempting to raise £20,000, which will directly fund a programme which will support 20 disadvantaged young people to find work in the body shop industry. We'll be running the courses in our own body shops, and we'll be giving these children, young people, every opportunity and every chance to try and build a career and a future that doesn't involve any of the horrific circumstances and statistics that I've just gone through with you. We're a long way towards our target, and anything that you guys can do to support us in raising our target. I think we're at about £15,500 now. Our target's 20,000, so anything that you guys can do to support us is just so much appreciated. So much appreciated. I think the other short snippet that I'll give you about because I think the statistics can be quite depressing, and I definitely don't want to put a downer on your evening. So I also wanted to give you a really positive example of what great things people can do and we can do as a society to improve the chances of these young people. I told Chris about a young girl who I saw about 3 weeks ago, who is an amazingly talented dancer and singer, and she has worked her way with the support of various charities and trusts through the stage school system, and she's reached the age of 17, and she's been chosen as one from 5,000 young girls to get a funded place at a stage school, which will really set her off on hopefully what will be an amazing career. And tragically, her mother's been suffering from cancer for the last 5 years. She has about 3 months to live. The family are deep in poverty, and the mother suffers from depression as well as a number of other conditions in addition to cancer. Lucy, we'll call her Lucy. Lucy is severely dyslexic, but is possibly the most inspirational, bright, breezy, bubbly girl I've ever met in all my life. And as with many other people who I've met through the Prince's Trust, the temptation is to think, oh, aren't they lucky to have access to mentors who come from good backgrounds, who can teach them how to get work. It is always a privilege to meet these young people and see how they face adversity and challenges that I've never had to face in life with such courage and fortitude, and they are truly an inspiration. So Lucy has applied for a grant from the Prince's Trust, We hope she'll get one. By the time you see this message, I think there's every chance we'll know whether one way or another whether she's got it or not. But she's just a good example of a young person who will be supported, I hope, by the trust, and the kind of person who your money could go to support in building a great future, which otherwise would be denied to them. I'm truly grateful for your support this evening. I can't thank Chris and Lauren enough. An amazing thing they're doing. What a great couple they are. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic evening. I hope the wine flows and the sun shines. As Chris says to me, the sun always shines on the righteous, and for me, you guys tonight are very much the righteous. I just hope you have a great time, and thanks so much for everything you've done tonight for the Prince's Trust and for the young people, more importantly, that the Trust aims to support. So all that's left for me to say is, Slàinte mhath, you have a fantastic evening, and I hope to meet you all one day. Thanks very much.